We can say that. And so he needs people who will understand the times, and then all their brethren be in unison with them and be in unity with them. Hallelujah. Let me cover just a little more ground here, at least build a foundation for where I want to go next regarding all this. Christ told the apostles, it is not for you to know the times of the seasons. Well, now, Pastor Mike, now wait a minute. Now, you've been talking about understanding the times, and here Jesus said, it's not for you to know the times of the seasons. Now, let me bring some balance to that. Let me bring some perspective to that. Let me bring some clarification to that. He said, it's not for you to know the times or the seasons. In Acts 1 and 7, it was more urgent they proceed to witness for him. And he says, he wanted us to witness for him unto the uttermost part of the earth, he said in verse 8 in Acts chapter 1. Well, we need to understand, he was not talking about understanding of the times. When he said it's not for you to know the times of the seasons, he wasn't talking about an understanding of the times. What he was talking about was having a knowledge of when the end would come. In other words, date setting. Date setting. This week, someone tried to, I have so many conversations, can't remember who I was with a lot of times and where it was at. But someone asked me, well, do you think this and that about, the end of time? I was, look here, I'm not in a date setting. I said, people have been date setting for eons. And almost always they've been wrong. We know a lot of them have been wrong because the date's come and gone and we still haven't seen anything from that. So he was talking about date. It's not for you to know when the end will come. It's not, you don't need to know that. That's not important for you to know when. You just live every day as if it's going to happen that day. It's not important for you to know when that end, when it's coming and to set that date. Listen, God, there's a lot of wisdom that God had in that, not letting people know what the date is. If everybody knew what day is coming, everybody wait till the day before to get right. If everybody knew the date that he was coming, they wait till the day before to start getting things shored up. And God knew that's human nature. That's probably what most of us might do. So, nevertheless, he would return to earth in some generation. We don't know exactly which generation. We can speculate, but that generation should be expected when they would see all these things. It says to know that it is near, even at the doors. He said in Matthew 24. When you start seeing some of these signs, you start seeing something, then know it's near. Now, near could mean tomorrow. It could mean the next minute. It could mean next year. Near could mean 100 years from now. The word near, as far as God's concerned, is very speculative. It could be, a day with the Lord is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is a day. So near could be 1,000,000 years as far as God's concerned, So, but he did say, there are certain things you can look for, certain signs will take place. And when you see these things, know that it's close. Know that it's approaching. And they can understand the signs, even though they should never attempt to guess the date. We should never attempt to guess the date. We get in a lot of trouble when we start guessing dates and trying to set dates and saying, well, this is going to happen. Just like what was 2012? December 21st, 2012, the Lord's supposed to come. Somebody said the world's going to end, the Lord's going to come, the world's going to end, all this kind of stuff, and which is totally, bogus. It was bogus then, and it wasn't even good eschatology. It wasn't even good end time teaching, for that matter. But and so December 21st, 2012 came, and it went. Here we are, 2017, and so we don't need to be worried about setting dates. He said, "Look up. Your redemption draws nigh," he said in Luke 21. Look up, your redemption draws nigh. When he says, when they would see these things begin to come to pass. So the signs are everywhere. Yet few of our leaders, Christians and Christian politicians included, and sadder still, pastors and ministers, don't seem to understand that the real meaning of these times that we're in now. I believe Christ is even at the door. I believe that. In my heart, I believe that. And like I said before, it's been my experience for the last several years, especially since I've been more deeply involved in politics and meeting politicians, going to Columbia Tuesday for Pastor's Day at the State House, and we'll be meeting with politicians and been meeting with our representative of our district and everything, our senators, our representatives, these things. Be doing all that. But since in the last several years, since I've gotten more deeply involved with that, and being involved with organizations that requires things like that, and getting more deeply involved with trying to get other pastors and leaders involved, I've run into great frustration. And a lot of my friends who were doing the same thing, we've run into great frustration. Do you know one of the most frustrating aspects of the whole ordeal is not the political leaders, they're frustrating enough, but it's really the pastors and leaders that I get so frustrated.